You think the highway is quiet at night? Try asking the ones who live in it, mile by mile, in darkness, behind the wheel. Tonight, you're about to hear 3 true stories that long-haul truckers swear really happened. Stories so twisted, they've kept seasoned drivers from ever taking the same route again. In Story 1, a trucker stops for a passenger in distress. But the ride turns into a psychological descent when she keeps whispering secrets that no one should know. In Story 2, a driver pulls into a truck stop for a nap, only to wake up to a Polaroid photo tucked into his glove box, showing him asleep in that exact position. But who took it? And how did they get in? And in Story 3, a man keeps seeing the same girl in a white dress appear at the same ditch, over and over again, miles apart, until he realizes she's not real, and worse, she's in his cab. So buckle in, lock your doors, and don't look in the rearview mirror. Because these are the trucker confessions that nobody was supposed to hear. Like this video, subscribe if you dare, and let's hit the road into the darkest corners of the highway. Story 1, mile marker 313. I've driven across almost every stretch of highway in this country, from the dead silence of the Nevada desert to the fog-choked back roads of West Virginia. I thought I'd seen it all, but nothing, and I mean nothing, has ever stayed with me. Like the night I passed mile marker 313 in Wyoming. It was late October, the sky already pitch black by 7 p.m., and I was hauling a refrigerated trailer full of frozen goods eastbound on I-80. I'd made a habit of listening to old crime podcasts to stay alert during the long hauls. But that night, the static on my radio kept cutting in, which was strange because that stretch of highway usually had decent reception. No matter what I tuned into, it was just bursts of white noise and garbled voices, almost like someone whispering, but not in any language I knew. I shrugged it off as a glitch. Maybe a storm was rolling in. The clouds above looked swollen and dark. By the time I hit the 300-mile mark, I was the only vehicle in sight. Not uncommon, but the road ahead had that strange shimmer. You know, the kind that comes before you drive into a fog bank. Everything gets eerily quiet. The tires seem to float. And then I saw it. A figure standing at the edge of the shoulder. I slowed a little, squinting through the windshield. It was a woman. Long black hair, thin frame, wearing what looked like an old hospital gown. Barefoot, arms by her sides. She didn't wave, didn't move, just stared at my truck as I rolled past at 30 miles an hour. I've seen some weird things at night, but something about her face, it was wrong. Blurred, somehow. Like looking at a photograph in the middle of developing. Not disfigured, not hurt, just unfinished. I shook my head, thinking maybe I'd been driving too long without rest. I pulled into the next truck stop, a shabby little lot with 2 flickering sodium lights and a barely functioning vending machine. I grabbed a soda, leaned on the hood, and tried to shake the image. That's when I saw the message scratched into the dust on my trailer. Just 5 words. She walks until you stop. My heart stopped. I hadn't parked anywhere that someone could sneak up on me. The lot was empty, and the vending machine lights hadn't flickered once. I checked the trailer door, locked tight, so I told myself it was already there. Some kid with a coin or a key did it at the last stop, maybe. I wiped it off and got back in the cab, telling myself to get to Cheyenne and sleep it off. Around 30 miles later, I passed mile marker 313 again. At first, I thought I'd just zoned out. Maybe the mile marker signs were mislabeled, or I was just that tired. But when I checked my GPS, it confirmed it. I was back at the same coordinates I had passed an hour earlier. I'd been driving straight. No turns, no off-ramps, no loops, just a single stretch of Interstate 80. But somehow, I was right back where I'd started. I slammed the brakes, got out, walked to the shoulder and stared at the sign. I even took a photo of it with my phone. That's when the temperature dropped. Hard, like walking into a freezer. I could see my breath, and the asphalt beneath my boots had a thin sheen of frost that hadn't been there seconds ago. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Not loud, not fast, just steady. I turned around fast, fists clenched, ready for some nutcase trying to mess with me. But no one was there, until I looked in the reflection of the trailer. She was there, standing right behind me, face still a smudged blank, hair soaking wet, gown fluttering despite no wind. I turned around again. Nothing. I ran back into the cab, locked the doors, and floored it. I didn't stop for anything. I blasted my horn every few miles to remind myself I was alive. I even turned on the interior lights to make sure nothing was hiding in the dark cab corners. 40 minutes later, I passed a rest area, one I knew I hadn't seen before. Bright lights, vending machines, and 2 other trucks parked. I pulled in, parked in full view of the lights, and got out. One of the other drivers was outside smoking. "You okay?" he asked, watching me nervously. I nodded, lying. "Just tired." He took a long drag, then asked, "You see her?" I froze. "What?" "Mile marker 313, he said. "You saw her, didn't you?" I didn't answer. He exhaled smoke through his nose like a dragon and shook his head. "She shows up once in a while, when someone drives that stretch too many times." "What do you mean?" He looked around before replying. "She's a loop ghost, stuck in a replay. You see her once and you're fine. See her twice and she follows. 3 times. He trailed off. "What happens the 3rd time?" I asked. He dropped his cigarette, stomped it out, and said, "No one knows. They don't come back to tell us." He dropped his cigarette, stomped it out, and said, "No one knows. They don't come back to tell us." Then he walked away. I slept in the driver's seat that night, lights on, doors locked, keys in the ignition. When I woke up, there was another message scratched into the glass of my windshield. "Don't let her in." The words scratched into my windshield were shallow, not deep enough to damage the glass, but unmistakable, jagged, desperate. "Don't let her in." I wiped them off with a trembling hand. They smeared like grease, as if they weren't made by anything solid. My gut said this wasn't a prank, not some trucker messing with me while I slept. I didn't want to believe it, not yet. But something told me I'd crossed into something I shouldn't have, and I didn't even know when. The other trucker was gone. His rig wasn't in the lot anymore. Neither was the second one, only me now. I drove. Not to Cheyenne anymore. I just wanted off the interstate. I didn't care if I ended up in a ditch. I just needed to take a detour, any detour. But the exits never came. I passed signs for exits I knew should have been there, but there were no ramps, no towns, just road. I hit the gas, fighting the building panic in my chest. My GPS kept glitching, the screen flickering, blue dot spinning in place. That's when the knocking started. Soft at first, like fingers tapping. I checked the side mirrors. Nothing. Then the passenger side window fogged over. Not mist, not breath. Fog. Like something outside the truck was exhaling onto the glass. And then came the handprint. Small. Pale. Pressed flat against the window. I nearly swerved off the road. I screamed and hit the interior lights. Nothing was there, but the handprint remained, slowly sliding down like someone was trying to get inside. My heart pounded as I remembered what the other trucker had said. "Don't see her a 3rd time." I looked up and saw it. Mile marker 313. Again. This time, she was in the middle of the road. No more standing on the shoulder. She was directly in my path. I slammed the brakes, but she didn't move. Her head tilted like before. Too far, too slow. And then she stepped toward the cab. The truck lurched as I tried to reverse, tires screaming. She moved like water, like smoke. No weight to her limbs, no sound to her steps. I slammed the lock button on the doors again, the windows. The engine roared as I backed away, but she kept walking, and then she smiled. It was the first time I'd seen her make any expression, and I wished I hadn't. Her smile stretched far too wide, splitting her face like a cracked plate, teeth like chalk, lips red like rust. She placed her hand on the hood of the truck, and everything shut off. Engine, lights, radio, dash, dead. The interior dimmed into total blackness. Only her silhouette visible, illuminated by nothing. I don't remember getting out of the cab. I don't remember grabbing my flashlight. But I remember the scream. Not hers. Mine. Because when I turned the flashlight on and aimed it at her, she wasn't standing on the road anymore. She was sitting in the passenger seat, looking at me, head tilted, hand tapping the glass. Tap, 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 and then I was parked, back at the rest stop. Daylight. A sheriff was knocking on my window. "You okay, sir?" I blinked at him, unsure if I was awake. "Where am I?" "You're parked illegally. This rest stop's been closed for 3 years." He wasn't joking. The place looked abandoned. The pavement cracked. Lights shattered. No vending machines. Just weeds and rust. But I had been here. Last night. There were lights. Other drivers. I tried explaining. He thought I was tweaking. Said I'd probably fallen asleep driving and coasted in on fumes. My tank was full. I left. No ticket. No explanation. Just a pounding headache and a growing fear in my chest. For weeks I didn't drive at night. I took local jobs, stayed close to home. But a month later I got a package, no return address. Inside was a photo of me, sitting in my truck, asleep, a blurred shape in the seat beside me. Underneath it, scrawled in black marker, "She only walks until someone lets her in." Story 2, Dead Air on Highway 19. I've been driving a midnight route for nearly 11 years now, usually between Amarillo and Albuquerque, long, lonely roads, just me, my rig, and the crackling of late-night radio. I never liked silence. Even back when I was a kid, silence always meant something was listening. So I kept the radio on low, not for the music, just the noise. But I'll never forget the night the noise started speaking back. It was a Thursday, late fall, the kind of crisp cold that keeps your windows fogged, even with the heater running. I was somewhere on Highway 19. If you've ever driven that stretch, you'll know. It's desolate. No towns for 70 miles. The only thing out there are dust, fences, and the occasional pair of headlights coming the other way. I had the radio tuned to some AM station, playing old rock ballads, the kind of soft background stuff you can ignore while you focus on the road. Around 2:17 a.m., the music cut out. No static, no click, just silence. Then, like someone slowly turning up a volume knob, the static returned. And buried inside that static, barely audible, was a voice. "Don't stop. Keep going." I turned the dial. Nothing but fuzz. I hit scan. Every station said the same thing. "Don't stop. Don't stop now. Don't let it catch up." My heart sank. I tried shutting the radio off completely. It didn't turn off. I yanked the power cable from the dash. The voice still whispered. Not from the radio now. From the CB speaker I hadn't touched in over a year. "You're already too far in." I floored it. The road looked the same in every direction. No exit, no signs, just 2 yellow lines vanishing into the dark. And that's when I saw the headlights behind me. At first I thought it was another driver, but they never gained on me, never dimmed their brights, just hovered at a distance. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Still there, always the same distance behind. I switched on my CB radio and said, "Driver behind me, you got your ears on?" No response. I tried again. That's when the voice came through, soft and broken. "You shouldn't have heard us." I swerved, hit the shoulder, almost took out a mile marker. I grabbed my flashlight, jumped out, and aimed it behind me. There was no one there. No headlights, no car, just empty blacktop and a cold wind that smelled like metal and something else. Rot. I got back in the truck, locked the doors, sat there for 5 minutes, engine idling, heart thudding in my ears. Then the radio clicked back on. Music resumed mid-song, like nothing had happened. I drove the rest of the night in silence. The next morning, I checked my CB wiring. It wasn't connected to power, hadn't been for months. And when I checked the recording dash cam I kept running overnight, all it had recorded between 2:17 and 2:38 a.m. was static. No road, no audio, just white fuzz, like I'd been driving through nowhere, and in the middle of the static was a frame. One frame. A still image. A photo of the back of my truck, with something standing just behind it. Tall, head tilted, grinning. I didn't sleep when I got home. I couldn't. Not after what I saw in that single frozen frame. The dash cam clip only lasted a second. Not even a second, but I paused it. I zoomed in. There was a figure, slender, blurry. Not quite man, not quite shadow. The frame was corrupted, sure. But you could make out teeth. No eyes, just rows of small, neat teeth in a face that looked too long, too stretched, too wrong. I showed it to my brother-in-law. He's a former cop. He asked if it was some kind of Halloween prank. I told him no one knew my route that night. And the cam isn't connected to the cloud. It loops locally. He told me to get the truck checked. Maybe someone's messing with your systems. So I did. 3 days later, the mechanic called me back. Said the truck looked fine, except one thing. "There's an extra CB antenna under your cab," he said, wired directly to the battery. I never installed one. When he removed it, he found something stranger. A burnt, melted frequency tuner taped to the underside. It was warped, black, and wrapped in what looked like cloth soaked in oil. He said, "I don't know where you picked this up, but it doesn't belong on a commercial truck." I brought the antenna home, and that night it started again. The radio came back on, even though I'd disconnected everything. Same voice, same static. But now, it called me by name. "Derek, why did you stop?" I screamed. Unplugged the radio, threw it across the room. It kept speaking, from the speaker, from the vents, from my phone, even though I had no signal. Then came the sound I can never forget, the soft click of my front door unlocking. I froze, got up, baseball bat in hand, walked slowly to the entry hall. The door was wide open, no wind, no footsteps, just the faint sound of a CB channel crackling, coming from inside my living room. When I turned the corner, the screen on my TV was on, completely blue, no input, and from the speakers came the phrase, "We followed you home." The next day, I went back to Highway 19. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to prove I wasn't crazy. Maybe I thought facing it would make it go away. I drove the same stretch, left at 2 a.m. At exactly 2:17. The music cut out. This time I was ready. I hit record on a separate audio device, one I'd stashed in the glove box, analog. The radio crackled. It turned back. You brought it with you. It can't go back alone. I pulled over, got out, and walked a few paces off the road with a flashlight. Nothing. No animals, no wind, no headlights. But then I heard it behind me. Footsteps, on gravel. I spun around. Nothing. But something was breathing. Loud. Wet. Like it was right beside my ear. I ran back to the truck, slammed the door, and floored it. Didn't stop until dawn. When I got home, I played the recording back. Here's the part I've never told anyone, not even my brother-in-law. There was a second voice on the tape. Deeper. Guttural. Almost mechanical. But it said only one thing. You're not Derek. Where's Derek? I don't know what it means. But the next day, someone posted in a truckers' forum I'm part of. A newbie driver on Highway 19 said he passed a rig parked on the shoulder around 2:30 a.m. Same color, same model as mine. No driver, just the cab idling, headlights off, and inside, through the windshield, he said he saw someone sitting in the passenger seat, still, grinning, mouth full of tiny, even teeth. Story 3. The Girl in the Ditch. I've been driving rigs for 14 years, nights mostly. I like the quiet. No tourists, no radio ads screaming at me. Just me, the rumble of the cab, and the long stretch of black ribbon under the wheels. That night started the same as any other. A supply run down I-80, Nebraska plains, barren, flat, empty. The job was simple. Overnight drop to a warehouse 3 hours out. No cities, no traffic, no reason to stop. Around 1:45 a.m., somewhere past mile marker 237, I saw her. A girl, standing in the ditch just off the right shoulder, wearing a white dress, soaked to the knees like she'd been standing in mud. Her hair was dark and long, and she was barefoot. No bag, no flashlight. She wasn't waving, wasn't walking, just staring. Not at my truck. At me. My headlights lit her up for maybe 2 seconds, but it felt longer, and just as I passed her, I glanced into the mirror. She was gone, not walking back, not crouching, just not there anymore. I gripped the wheel tighter, told myself it was a trick of the light, sleep deprivation, one of those illusions the brain plays on long-haul drivers. 10 miles later, I had convinced myself I imagined it. Then I saw her again. Same girl, same white dress, same muddy legs, still staring, same ditch, same exact pose, except I hadn't turned around, hadn't doubled back. It was impossible. I kept driving, faster now, didn't check the mirror, didn't blink. 15 miles later, the truck's warning beep went off. Low fuel, which didn't make sense. I had filled up before leaving, I always do, but the gauge was dropping fast. I pulled over, shut the engine off, and tried to breathe. The GPS showed no towns nearby, no gas, just 23 miles to the drop-off point. I tried to radio dispatch, nothing, dead air. Tried my phone, no service. Then I saw movement in the rear view. The girl. She was walking up the center of the road, slowly, barefoot, still staring. I locked the doors. My hand was shaking. She didn't stop walking, just got closer and closer, until she disappeared beneath the view of the hood. I waited for a knock. Nothing. Then I heard breathing. Not outside. Inside the cab. Like someone crouched behind the driver's seat. I whipped around. Empty. I turned back to the windshield. She was gone. I started the truck. The engine struggled, coughed, but turned over. As I pulled back onto the road, I noticed something on the windshield. Mud, in the shape of a handprint, from the inside. I made it to the drop-off, barely. The night manager asked if I was okay. I looked in the side mirror. My face was pale, eyes bloodshot. But what made me freeze was the back seat of the cab reflected behind me. There was a shape, sitting. I turned to look. Nothing. The guy handed me a clipboard. I signed it, muttering something about sleep. He said, "That your daughter?" "What?" He pointed at the passenger side. "No," I said, walking around. "Why?" He looked confused. "She was in the cab with you when you pulled up." My stomach dropped. "There's no one else with me." He looked pale, backed away. I checked the entire truck, front to back, empty, but tucked behind the passenger seat I found a scrap of paper. Soaked in water, ripped along the edge. On it was a child's handwriting, barely legible. "She's not done walking yet." I've never driven that highway again, and to this day, every time I pass a mile marker, I count the girls in the ditch. Because now, there's more than one. Still feeling safe on the open road? The next time you pass a dark stretch of highway, or stop at a lonely truck stop in the middle of the night, just remember, some things don't stay in the rearview mirror. If you made it this far, you're braver than most. And if these stories shook you even a little, go ahead and hit that like button. It lets us know you want more. Subscribe to the Scary Storyteller and turn on the bell, because the next story might just be the one that keeps you up tonight. And hey, share this video with someone who says they're not afraid of the dark. Let's test that.